नमस्ते, नमस्कार, गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
शाहिद भाई आवाज आ रही है आपको?
Sir, I have joined. Am I audible?
Yes sir, you are audible.
इसको माइक नहीं छूना, ये दूर से आवाज पकड़ेगा।
निजाम,
हेलो, आवाज आ रही है आपको मेरी?
निजाम आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ आ रही है।
हाँ ठीक है, क्लियर आ रही है। और कुछ बोलिए। ठीक है ठीक है। ओके।
Good morning, Professor Prasad. Am I audible to you?
Yes, perfectly.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
जैसे क्या
I request all the attendees to please take the seats. We are just starting. सभागार में उपस्थित सभी बुद्धिजीवियों को अभिनंदन। मैं गौतमी त्रिपाठी, सहायक प्राचार्य संगणक विज्ञान एवं अभियांत्रिकी विभाग जामिया हमदर्द, आप सभी का अभिनंदन करती हूँ। लोकतंत्र की जननी, द मदर ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी. It is a matter of pride that Jamia Hamdard has been chosen by the University Grants Commission for hosting this seminar. To mark this event, we are honored to have with us Professor Prasad Joshi, Pro Vice Chancellor, Delhi College Postgraduate and Research Institute, Pune, who will deliver the lecture on Ancient Indian Value System. This lecture will also be screened online via Google Meet and will also be streamed on YouTube. We also have with us Professor Dr. M. Afshar Alam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jamia Hamdard, Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, DSW, Jamia Hamdard, Dr. Zeenat Iqbal, Deputy DSW, Jamia Hamdard. It is my privilege to extend a cordial welcome to all the dignitaries on the dais, faculty, students, and staff of Jamia Hamdard, and all the online attendees to this event. Moving forward, reminding ourselves of our everyday presence is a great way to practice gratitude. It helps us remember all the good things in our lives and keep us moving forward. As a tradition of Jamia Hamdard, I now invite Imam Sahib Rabia Masjid for the recitation of the verses from the Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والذين استجابوا لربهم وأقاموا الصلاة وأمرهم شورى بينهم ومما رزقناهم ينفقون। कुरान आप सब जानते हैं कि अरबिक में है और उसकी ये छोटी सी आयत पढ़ी है मैंने आपके सामने। اس پوری آیت کا نہیں بلکہ اس آیت میں بھی ایک ٹکڑا ہے، میں اسی کے بارے میں آپ کو کچھ باتیں بتاؤں گا. پہلے پوری آیت کا ٹرانسلیشن سن لیجئے. جو لوگ اپنے رب کے سامنے سر جھکاتے ہیں، اس کی عبادت کرتے ہیں اور اسی کی نماز پڑھتے ہیں، اور ان لوگوں کے سارے کام آپس کے مشورے سے ہوتے ہیں، اور جو کچھ ہم نے ان کو دیا ہے وہ اس میں سے خرچ کرتے ہیں. اللہ نے اپنے کچھ خاص بندوں کی کچھ نشانیاں بتائی ہیں اس آیت میں. میں صرف آپ کے سامنے وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَىٰ بَيْنَهُمْ کے بارے میں بتاؤں گا کہ ان کے آپس کے کام مشورے سے چلتے ہیں. دیکھیے مشورہ، قرآن سے ہٹ کے اب کچھ باتیں بتا رہا ہوں میں آپ کو. مشورہ جہاں ہوتا ہے ڈیموکریسی وہیں ہوتی ہے. جہاں کوئی ایک آدمی رولر بن جائے، میں نے جو کہا ہے بس یہی ہوگا، وہاں ڈیموکریسی نہیں ہو سکتی کبھی بھی، جمہوریت کبھی بھی نہیں ہو سکتی وہاں پر. جیسا کہ بہت سے ملکوں میں ہے کہ وہاں کے رولر نے، وہاں کے بادشاہ نے جو کچھ کہہ دیا بس وہی فائنل ہے. اسلام نے جو یہ کانسیپٹ دیا ہے ڈیموکریسی کا، اتنا شاندار اور اتنا بہترین سسٹم کسی نے نہیں دیا. آپ کوئی کام کر ہی نہیں سکتے جب تک کہ آپ اپنے ساتھیوں سے اس بارے میں ڈسکس نہ کر لیں. اسلام کہتا ہے کسی معاملے میں جب تم کو فیصلہ کرنا ہے تو آپس میں اپنے ساتھیوں سے بات چیت کرو، بات چیت کر کے اس مسئلے کو سلجھاؤ اور آگے بڑھو. اور کسی ملک کی ترقی کے لیے یہ ضروری ہے کہ سب لوگوں کے مشورے سے وہ ملک آگے بڑھے. جن ملکوں میں ایک آدمی حاکم بنا ہوا ہے، ایک رولر بنا ہوا ہے، وہاں کے حالات اتنے خراب ہیں کہ ہر شخص ڈر اور خوف کے ساتھ جی رہا ہے. ہم اپنے ملک ہندوستان میں دیکھ لیں تو بڑا فخر محسوس ہوتا ہے کہ ہم ایسے ملک میں جی رہے ہیں جہاں ہر شخص کو بولنے کی آزادی ہے، ہر شخص اپنی رائے دے سکتا ہے، کسی بات میں بھی کمنٹ کر سکتا ہے وہ آدمی. کتنی بہترین نعمت ہے کہ ہم اپنے ذہن کو، اپنے دماغ کو کھل کر جو کچھ چاہیں کہہ سکتے ہیں، رائے دے سکتے ہیں. حکومت کو بھی، کسی کو بھی رائے دے سکتے ہیں، اپنے دوست کو، ساتھی کو، کسی کو بھی کچھ کہہ سکتے ہیں. میں اپنے بارے میں بتاؤں آپ کو، میں ایک دفعہ سعودی عرب گیا عمرہ کرنے کے لیے. میں حرم شریف میں بیٹھا ہوا تھا، مکے کی مسجد میں. وہاں کچھ لوگ اور بیٹھے ہوئے تھے، کچھ میرے رشتہ دار بھی تھے وہاں پر. تو وہاں آپس میں بات چیت کرنے لگے. تو ایک صاحب جو وہیں رہتے ہیں، وہیں کی نوکری کرتے ہیں، انہوں نے جلدی سے بہت دہشت میں خوف، آگے نہیں. میں نے کہا کیا ہو گیا؟ کہنے لگے یہاں پر حکومت کے بارے میں کوئی ڈسکشن نہیں ہو سکتا، یہاں کے رولر کے بارے میں کوئی بات چیت نہیں ہو سکتی، بالکل خاموش رہیے. تو اس وقت وہاں بیٹھ کے میں نے کہا مجھے فخر ہے کہ میں ہندوستانی ہوں، مجھے فخر ہے کہ میں ہندوستانی ہوں، اور میرے مزاج کو، میرے ذہن کو میرے ملک نے ایسا بنایا ہے کہ ہم جب چاہیں، جہاں چاہیں، جو چاہیں بات بول سکتے ہیں. حکومت کو، کسی کو بھی جو چاہیں ہم مشورہ دے سکتے ہیں. ماننا نہ ماننا وہ ایک الگ معاملہ ہے، لیکن ہم کہہ سب کچھ سکتے ہیں. کہنے لگے یہاں کچھ نہیں بول سکتے. یہاں تو اگر مسجد کعبہ شریف کی جو مسجد ہے وہاں کے ممبر پر اگر امام کھڑے ہو کر کچھ بول رہا ہے اور حکومت کو بات پسند نہیں آئی تو وہیں مسجد کے ممبر پر سے اٹھا کے لے جائیں گے اس کو جیل میں، اور کوئی اس کی بات سنی نہیں جائے گی. اتنی بڑی پوزیشن کا آدمی. تو ہندوستان کے اندر رہنا اور ہندوستان کی جمہوریت کو ماننا، اور ہندوستان کی جمہوریت ایک بہت بڑی نعمت ہے. صحیح معنوں میں اگر آپ غور کریں کہ آپ اتنے شاندار ملک میں رہتے ہیں، ہمیشہ اس ملک کی محبت اور اس ملک کی وفاداری اور اس ملک کی ترقی کی دعائیں مانگا کیجئے، جیسے کہ آپ کے یہاں اس مسجد میں ہوتی ہے. اور میں ہمیشہ کہتا ہوں اللہ کرے یہ ملک ہمیشہ اسی طرح سے جمہوریت کا علمبردار بنا رہے، ہمیشہ یہ ملک جو ہے اسی طریقے سے ترقی کرتا رہے جس طریقے سے کر رہا ہے. اور جمہوریت جو اس ملک کی دھڑکن ہے، یہی دھڑکن اس ملک کو زندہ رکھے ہے. اور جس دن جمہوریت، یہ چیز یہاں سے ختم ہو جائے گی، بس کسی بھی ملک کی بربادی کا وہیں سے شروع ہو جاتا ہے. تو اس لیے یہ بجا طور پر ہم سب ہندوستانی جتنے بھی ہیں فخر کر سکتے ہیں کہ اس ملک کے اندر جمہوریت کو جنم دینے والی یہاں کے لوگوں کی سوچ ہے. اللہ کرے یہ کامیاب ہو جائے یہ کانفرنس جس مقصد میں کی جا رہی ہے، اور آپ سب لوگ ہمیشہ خوش خرم رہیں.
Thank you, sir. I now request Professor Dr. Reshma Nasreen, DSW Jamia Hamdard, for the welcome address.
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Namaskar. I consider it an honor to welcome all the dignitaries of the dais first, all the officials, deans, HODs, students, faculty members, and especially our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. And our main speaker of today, Professor Prasad Joshi, sir. Sir, thank you for logging in at the right time. We welcome you here, sir. I quote Mahopanishad, chapter 4, Shlok 71, which says, Ayam bandhurayam neti ganana laghu chetasam, meaning thereby, these are my friends and these are strangers. These are the thoughts of people who are narrow-minded, laghu chetasam. Udar charitanam tu vasudhaiva kutumbakam. Udar charitanam means people who are broad-minded, consider the world to be one family. And this is what India is all about. The greatness of thought, the capability to adapt, assimilate varied cultures, languages, everything, different viewpoints. So the greatness of India, if we extol, can go on for ages. But for us, in the present day, we need to understand that this is the culture, this is what India has given us. And reflecting this, Jamia Hamdard is a microcosm of all these cultures, all these beliefs. We have students from more than 25 states. In India, we have got states and union territories, and we have got students across the world coming to India, embracing the Hamdard culture. And that is what our founder father, Hakim Abdul Hamid Sahab, had envisioned. So we are blessed to be in a university which reflects not only the Hamdardian ethos, but the Islamic ethos as well as the national ethos. I once again welcome all of you. I will not take much of time here. And thank you all for coming. And Professor Prasad Joshi, let me just bring to your kind notice that because the auditorium has only around 200 capacity, and we have around 10,000 students. So this your discourse will be streamed on YouTube, and the students have logged in to to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Anubhadra Kritavu Yantu Vishwataha. Let the noble thoughts come to me from all directions. We are honored to have with us today Professor Prasad Joshi, Pro Vice Chancellor, Deccan College Postgraduate and Research Institute, Pune, as the speaker of this seminar. A renowned academician, Sir has authored and edited many books like Vedic Artist and Panini. Sir has also written many articles in renowned venues in multiple languages and has many research papers to his credit. He is also awarded with many awards for his contributions, including the prestigious President of India Award for Young Sanskrit Scholar 2015-16. We all are eager to hear from you, sir. I now invite our speaker for today, who is joining us online for his lecture on ancient Indian value system and concepts of kingship. So,
very good afternoon. Namaskar. Assalamu alaikum. Very honorable Vice Chancellor of Jamia Hamdard deemed to be University, Professor Afshar Alam, all the dignitaries, professors, faculty members, and my dear students of this prestigious institute. Before I begin to say anything, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude towards this institute. I feel really honored by the Vice Chancellor having been invited here in this institute to deliver a talk on this occasion. So, first of all, I thank all the authorities, the organizers who have taken great efforts and have spread a word to many students and members of the university to participate in this program. So kindly accept my big thanks to all of you first of all. So with this thankful beginning, I would like to present the thoughts that have occurred in my mind while I was thinking on the concept of democracy and what India can contribute, or the ancient Indian scriptures to be precise, can contribute to understanding of the democracy, and most probably how the thoughts or how the value system that is reflected in these ancient scriptures would be conducive for the development and sustenance of the democracy of not only India, but I think for that matter of any nation as such. Friends, India is known for certain values like tolerance, acceptance of every view, and this is the actually value for which India is recognized and highly acclaimed in the world. So what is this value system actually? Where it has been taught? We all are aware of the fact that the ancient literature of India, for that matter of mankind, is the Vedas. And we have 4 Vedas: Rigveda, Atharva Veda, Samaveda, and Yajurveda. Besides the Vedas, we have profuse literature following the texts of the Vedas, like Upanishads, Puranas are there, epics are there, and again there are darshanas, which mean the philosophical systems like yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta, etc. Besides this Vedic cult, we have tremendous influence of other cults also, like Jainas and Buddhas equally. So the Tripitakas and Jataka Kathas, which represent the Buddhist philosophy, and also the Agamas by Jainas, and all these have created a treasure of Indian literature. And the scriptures, actually, Indian scriptures include all these important texts. Now let us see what all these scriptures have created a great influence on the minds, on the thoughts, and also on the actions of our people from ages together, and it goes to continue still today also. So they have actually influenced our activities in past and present also, and they are at the core actually of our life, actually, we can say. But now, so far as the Vedic cult is concerned, what are these values and around what they move? So it is the concept of purusharthas. Purusharthas means purusharthas, they go to say goals of human being. We are born for what purpose? The entire activities that we do, certain goal is there, and the goal is fourfold. Dharma, that is moral law. Actually, dharma is a very wide term, and it has very encyclopedic kind of meaning, one can say. But in normal and very plain sense of the word, it is understood as the moral law or moral conduct. In other words, it is a righteous path to be followed. So dharma is there, artha is there. Artha means wealth. Human being is there, and they have to exert, they have to earn wealth also. That is also one of the goals of human beings. And then kama, desire, and ultimately moksha, which is the supreme goal of human being, ultimate liberation called moksha. So probably these are the 4 goals of human being around which we find that entire value system moves. So probably this is the pivot which actually circulates around itself all these values. So far as the Vedic cult is concerned, this is very important. But besides that, the concepts of punyam, that means merit, papa, which means sin, and most importantly, very particularly, karma phala. Karma is one's own deed and the result. It is believed that if we do good deeds, we incur merit. If we do evil deeds, evil acts, then probably sin, then merit is not gained, and one gets the results accordingly the deeds. So this is very important. If you follow the moral path, if you follow the values, then values are rewarded, virtues are rewarded. So this is the idea. So this is the karma phala. So besides the purusharthas, we have this concept of punya, papa, karma phala. They are very at the center of value systems, and that actually creates the value system, and actually it actually enforces the people, actually it guides the people to follow the righteous path, or the path which has values certain. Okay, so this is in short the value system. But along with all these concepts, no less is the important of concept dharma, which just now I refer to that dharma means the righteous path here, not in any other sense of religion, etc. So there is a verse in Smriti text, Dhrutihi Kshama Damosteyam Shaucham Indriya Nigraha Dhir Vidya Satyam Akrodha Dashakam Dharma Lakshanam. So dharma which is to be followed was characterized chiefly by 10 qualities. It does not mean any kind of worship, perform this, perform that, and big elaborate sacrifices, etc. Actually, now actually why so much of emphasis was laid on dharma, practicing of righteous path? Because it was believed that dharma is going to lead to you to gain worldly prosperities and also the salvation, ultimate release from this bondage of birth and death, etc. So Vaisheshika Sutra says, Yato Abhyudaya Nishreyasa Prapti Sadharma. So look at that. Papa, punya, merit, sin, karma phala, result of one's deed, and dharma, etc. They actually form a core part center, and around which all these 10 values and more than that, they are moving. Dharma has to be there to attain worldly prosperities and also the ultimate salvation. Now, what are these values which are time and again referred to in the preaching of all these texts, not only Vedic, but also Buddhist and Jainas also literature? If we have a close consideration of all these treatises, these scriptures, we find that there are major values like ahimsa, non-violence, non-aggression, and this is preached by all the scriptures unanimously. Satya, follow truth, that is very important. Asteya, absence of greed for any other's possession, non-theft, in other words. Krodha, actually anger, which is only one letter short of danger. So control of anger is very important. And titiksha, tolerance, endurance, forbearance, any kind of translation would be there. But probably these are the values. Then kshama, forgiveness, forget and forgive. Indriya nigraha, restraint of one's own organs. And shaucha, purity of wealth, purity of mind, purity of action, everything is there. So our conduct has to be very pure. And all these scriptures lay very great emphasis on practicing of these values. Okay, so let us see how these things are there, and how some of actually many of these values probably they form the part of personal character, but also there are values or very important principles which are very important on the societal level equally, like tolerance, respecting plurality. These are very important. Actually, the points which we referred right now, they are equally crucial to form one's own character, one's own noble character, good character. But when individual is noble and practices the values, then entire society would be formed accordingly. But certain values are there which are very crucial on societal level. When we live in a group, when we live in a community like India, which is full of plurality, where there is, pluralism is very important. And all the communities, different sects, different followers of different philosophies, they all reside together. And how it is respected in the ancient scriptures, let us see. So India actually is an abode for all the different streams together. Let us see. So the idea is that the basic question of philosophy, of Indian philosophy is that the nature of universe. Actually, who has created the universe? This is the quest for truth. This is the quest for universe. And Vedic says appear to present several theories of creation. And one of them asserts that it is the kama or desire of the supreme soul called Atman, called Brahman differently. And that desire is there of that primordial principle or Atman or Brahman to manifest itself in plurality, which has led it to creation. So, Sat Akamayata Bahusyam Prajayaya. So, before the creation, whether there was anything existing or there was nothing, Nasadiya Sukta is there, Nasadasid, Nasid. But there is one theory that there was Atman, their reality is full of manyness, but this is the desire of that single supreme soul or primordial principle which was there. This is said by Taittiriya Aranyaka. So this is clear from the consideration of the verse that diversity and plurality are thus considered to be very essence of supreme soul. And the world is manifestation of this essence. All the beings, right from small insect to the microscopic insect to the dinosaur, are bound to differ in their nature, their abilities, their intellect, their speeches, their activities, everything. But the Vedic seers go to say that they are nothing but they are expression of the supreme soul. This is the spiritual approach is there. And again, from Rigveda, we find expressions like Samochit Hastona Samam Vivishtaha. So we are bound to differ. Diversity is the very essence of nature. Two hands of the same individual do not perform with same ability. Calves of the same cow do not milk in same measure. The twins do not act exactly alike. Born in same family, two brothers do not give same arms. So look at that, every after a meter's distance, we differ in our thoughts, in our activities, whatever we do. But this plurality, this diversity is nothing but the expression of the same soul, supreme soul. So ultimately, the supreme soul is the unifying force. That probably is the purport of all these Vedic mantras. So very clear reference is there from the Atharva Veda, which says, Janam Bibhrati Bahuda Vivachasam Nana Dharmanam Prithvi Yathokasam. So this Prithvi, Earth, this planet Earth, is Okas, is a home. Look at that. So it's a home of whom Janam Bibhrati, Jana is people. So it goes to shelter people. It is a shelter, it is an asylum, it is an home for people. But people are not alike. Vivachasam, of diverse speeches. And we know that after 10 miles, we have dialects and speech forms, they differ. Nana Dharmanam. Here dharma means activity. So in society, we have people doing different activities. This idea is there. But Prithvi, this planet Earth, is the abode of all these diverse individuals. It's for no one's property as such, but it is the abode of everyone. This is the probably purport of the Atharva Veda. Further, the Yajurveda goes to say, Vajasani Samhita, we read a mantra. So the wise person, will perceive all this diversity, will respect this plurality, because he knows that beneath this diversity, there is unifying force, and that is Atman. So Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Ekanidam. He says that all these beings, they evolve from the same Brahma, expression, manifestation of the same Brahma. And after that, they are once again absorbed after dissolution in the same one. So just like, Yatra Vishwam Bhavati Ekanidam, entire universe dissolves in the Supreme Soul as if that soul is Ekanida. Nida means nest, a small nest of bird. At the end, all the birds will come back to their net, and entire universe is but one nest. This is the message of universal brotherhood. And as far as I know, Yatra Vishwam Bhavatyekanitam. This was chosen as the motto of Shanti Niketan, founded by Rabindranath Ji Tagore. So now look at the approach, the spiritual approach, which goes to respect the plurality, the diversity of this universe. So this approach is very, very important. Now let us see what are the other things. So it is clear that this affirms the underlying unity in diversity. This spiritual approach will probably, all of you will agree, will go to abolish all the discriminating elements based on region, religion, caste, gender, language, age, etc. Because they all are superficial, and this spiritual approach that everything is one, an expression of one supreme soul, will mark the solidarity and fraternity among all the individuals. So this is the message of probably these mantras. Again, tolerance and respect for views, for which India is well known. In the Rigveda we find Indram, Mitram, Varunam, Agrimahu, Atho Devya Sapurana Gurutman, Ekam Sadvipra Bahudha Vadanti. This is very important. Now, in the quest of ultimate reality, what is the reality? Who is the Lord of this universe? Whether there is any Lord at all. And if is there, then who is he? Some call Indra, others call Mitra, others call it Varuna. There are some other thinkers, philosophers who call it Agni. Some may call it Garuda, heavenly, noble winged, Gurutman, etc. But they all say that this one reality is perceived differently. Ekam Sad. Maybe that one is the same one, and Bahudha Vadanti. Those thinkers will call it by different names. So all paths, will lead to the ultimate reality. We may call it by different names. And this was the position, actually. This was the position taken by the Rigveda seers. And there will be numerous ways to address the reality, question of ultimate reality. Reality is one, but perceived in numerous ways. And the wise men will understand that. This is the purport of the mantra. Actually, this mantra confirms, the respect for every other opinion which is different from you, different from one's own. And this position is very fundamental for the rise of polytheism, diverse sects and modes of worship in India. This is the basis upon which we find development of diverse philosophical systems in India, like Dvaita, Shankaracharya, of course, Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, all these philosophical systems, Vedanta systems are there. They do not agree probably in their proponation, but all are respected. All are called as Darshanika. They have the status of thinkers. So this is the democratic probably spirit to accept the views of others. And the purport of this verse is reiterated in many stotras. Mahimna Stava is there, which says, Ruchinam Vaichidryat, Ruju Kutila Nana Patadusam, Guna Meko Gamyaha, Vamasi, Payasam Aranavaiva. This goes to say the same thing, that Lord is one, reality is one. And like, all amount of waters which ultimately goes to the ocean. Some amount of waters may directly fall from skies. Some amount of water may indirectly lead to the ocean through various streams and rivers, etc. So paths would be different, but everyone will reach the same reality. And this was the mantra, this was the verse which was quoted by Swami Vivekananda in his historic speech at Chicago. Everybody knows of that history also. Okay. Now, yeah. So this is the tolerance of other views. But not only tolerance, there is acceptance of the views also. And I'm thankful to the faculty member who introduced. And She also said that Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwataha. So this is exactly what Rigveda says. Let there be noble thoughts, pious thoughts coming to us. We are ready to accept them. So there is not only respect for the others' opinion, but also acceptance, accommodation of best views, noble views, and that actually creates the synthesis. When the last verse of the Rigveda, which is probably explained or called as hymn of unity, Sangachadvam Samvadadvam. So you all get united. This is the message. Samvadadvam, speak in harmony. Your mind should be in harmony. Manansi Janatam. So harmony of act, harmony of mind, which is very important. We may stay together, we may dine together, we may walk together, but whether our minds are united or not. If they are not united, then everything is just superfluous. So the mantra says, Manansi Janatam. Let your minds be in harmony. So this is the harmonious relationship among all the members of the family, society, that probably is envisioned by the Rigveda. Its very last verse. This is in this mantra the Rigveda concludes. Okay. So, theme of unity, we find the same continued in later Vedas, later texts of Vedas, Atharva Ved. The seer says Samani Prapa. Prapa means the place of water. Samani Prapa. You know, if we go to villages even today, there are different water places for different communities. Why that should be there? Let us dine together, let us eat together, let us drink together. Samani Prapa, our drinking place should be one. Let us not differ in any element. That's what Atharva Ved goes to say. Probably this is addressed to a family. But family is the nucleus unit of society. And every family acts like that. Then probably on the societal level also these values will probably be very important. So all this goes to create what? We have seen that Vivachasam, Nana Dharmanam, people, the earth is abode of different people doing different activities. There is freedom of expression, Vivachasam, Vidharmanam, activities are there. There are farmers, there are traders, there are professionals, and all they constitute the society. So there has to be tolerance, there has to be a freedom of thought, expression, and ultimately what that goes to create? It goes to create complete fearlessness. And the Atharva Ved is there, which envisages this. Abhayam Naktam. May there be fearlessness for us during days and nights. During days and nights. So this is the ideal state, probably, which was envisaged, which was envisioned by the seers in the Atharva Ved. So complete state of fearlessness. So all these values which we have seen, probably starting from individual character to the societal level, family level, they will create atmosphere, they will create ecosystem which is fearless, which ensures fearlessness to all the individuals. And Abhayam Naktam, Abhayam Diva. So these are some of the values, actually, you know, the preaching, some important preachings of the Vedas and others. No doubt, you know, when we have close consideration of all these scriptures, we can find some probably traditions or the references which probably are not relevant today, which are not healthy and which are against the humanity and society. They have to be abolished, they have to be abandoned, like untouchability, casteism. All this would be forgotten only when we address the spiritual aspect, and the spiritual approach would probably help us in overcoming all the discriminating elements that is there. But you know, because of the evil practices, evil traditions, the society again got into degeneration, probably, because we have this value system, preachings are there, but in the course of time, in the due course of time, probably eventually this system or these values we forgot, and we ourselves have forgotten our tradition. And when society was degenerating and all the vices and bad practices, unhealthy traditions, ignoble practices, like many are there, they were overpowering the values and virtues thanks to the great tradition of saints. And they again revived, they also added to the value system, not only this Vedic tradition and other things, but India is marked for the tradition of saints. Ramanuja in Tamil Nadu, Basaveshwara, Basavanna in Karnataka, Ramananda in North India, Jnaneshwara, 13th century in Maharashtra, Tukaram also from Maharashtra. They also contributed lion's share to teach the value system, to preach the values to the society, to teach the values of unity, brotherhood, and overcome the bad practices like casteism, untouchability. So we have great contribution from the tradition of saints also in medieval period also. So just for example, of course, many examples would be there, but Tukarama, great saint Tukarama of Maharashtra, he says, Vishnumaya Jaga Vaishnavancha Dharma, Bheda Bheda Brahma Amangala. All these discriminating forces are inauspicious and they are illusionary. Amangala, he says. So let us overcome all the discriminating forces. That's what Tukaram again says. So all these, Vedic scriptures and the tradition of saints, they go to teach us the universal brotherhood, overcoming our own discrimination, and that will create a conducive atmosphere, conditions for the development of democracy in true sense. That's what I mean to say. So some of these value systems were reflected. Now, based on this value system or certain values which were established in the society, let us see what was the duty and concept of kingship. What a role was played by king or raja, monarch. So actually, in the ideal state, so far as the polity is concerned, the Rajadharma, duties of a king concerned, we have many texts in Sanskrit literature, right from Atharva Veda, Mahabharata, Anushasana Parva, Shanti Parva, Kautilya Arthashastra, and many other texts are there, right, till Shukraniti, where we have abundance reference to the polity and also king's duties. It is important to note that king was considered to be born from elements of gods. So divinity was attached to the king. Smriti says that king was born from elements of Lokapalas, guardians of quarters. Further, there is another verse which says that Vishnu Ramshena Jayante Prithivyan Chakravartinaha. These all sovereign kings are there. They are born from the element of Lord Vishnu in all the times. That is there. But it never means that king is divine. So actually, P.V. Kane, Bharat Ratna P.V. Kane, he says that, but it should not be supposed that this glorification of the king resulted in the full-fledged theory of divine right of kings, or that every king, however bad, was looked upon as a divinity or could do what he liked. That was not so. So, on the contrary, an oppressing king or a tyrant king was considered to have demon's parts in him. And to that, Shukraniti also says, Yohi Dharmapuro Raja Devansho Anyascha Rakshasam, etc. So, the divinity was attached to king, but it was only to emphasize his greatness. It will be very worthy to understand the term Raja or king. Raja is the word in Hindi, Sanskrit also. What does it mean? The etymological definition means Raja, Rajatehe, or Raja means who shines is there. But Ranja is the root, means to please or to gratify. So which means that who gratifies the subject, who gratifies the people, who gratifies his own praja is Raja. So in Mahabharata, there is a story of King Vainya, who was very ideal, who was described as an ideal king. And with respect to him, it is said, why this Vainya was king? Because Ranjitascha Praja Sarva Stena Rajeti Shabdare. The Vainya was called Raja by the virtue that he gratified his people. That was the idea. Raghuvanshi is another text by famous poet Kalidasa. And in Raghuvanshi, we find description of all the kings of the Raghu family. So here, Raghu is the king. And Kalidas says he was the king, he was called Raja, on account of gratification of the people. So, similarly, Dilipa, who was the first king described in Raghuvansha, Kalidasa says, Prajana Vinayadhana, Rakshanad Bharanadapi, Sapita Pitarastasam, Kevalam Janmahitava. Dilip was the king. Actually, he was father for them. Because granting protection, fostering, he became father to them. And their fathers were just biological father, instrumental in giving them birth. But Raja, king, was the father in true sense. So look at that. It goes to highlight the primary duty of a king, that he has to protect, he has to foster his kingdom, his subject, as if the subject is his child. Before actually that, in the ideal state described in Mahabharata, Naiva Rajyam na Raja Sid Nadando Nachadandikaha. There was no governance. Less governance is best governance. There was no governance. Neither a king. There was no punishment, neither a punisher. So this was probably the ideal. People protected themselves following their righteous paths or dharma. But this didn't continue for a long time. And eventually, they stopped following their paths, lost mutual faith, mere chaos was loosened, and therefore there arose a need for a king to protect them and govern them. So that was the idea. But even if that was there, so king had to be there. But even if king had to be there, the supremacy of people was ensured. And king was selected by the subject, by the people. So as early as Atharva Veda, we have clearer reference that even monarch was there, he was selected by people. Tvam Visho Vrunatam, he says that let the subject choose you. So it was not anybody inborn right of a king, that his father was king, so he also be made king. It was not so. Let us see some examples. So in Mahabharata, we find the reference that the last king, Parikshita, after his death, his Shishu, his son was made king. By whom? Puravasino Janaha, citizens. Citizens together made Janamejaya the king. So he was chosen by the citizens. So king was always chosen. Vishi Raja Pratishtitaha, actually, we have other references like that. Then let us see if the king, so the king was selected. But if the king failing in his duty to protect the subject was considered to be Kali, evil, and he deserves punishment of life even. Arakshitaram hartaram, viloptadaram, adayakam, etc. Raja Kalim Hannihu, his Kali, his evil, and even he was sentenced to death by the subject. So the king couldn't afford to be a tyrant king, oppressing king, and he had to seek always the conformity from the people. Same references are there. Let us not go into detail. Let us honor the limits of time. Vishi Raja Pratishtitaha. So the king stands stable on the support of people. This is very, very important. And it goes to say that, people had their primacy. So even if monarch was there, king was there, the governance was certainly people-centric. If people are dissatisfied with the king, they could oust the king, and many references are there. We have famous story of Vena king that was described. It is described in Mahabharata and Puranas also. So he was deviating from the righteous path and oppressing his subject. So he was removed by the people, by the subject. Further, Asamanjasa was the son of Sagara, and Sagara banished his son Asamanjasa, who was king and was not gratifying his people, not gratifying his subjects. So he was removed. So we have many stories of kings being removed from the seat by the people. So all these things were there, and ultimately, we have this ideal state in Kautilya Arthashastra, which is described as Praja Sukhe Sukham Rajnyaha Prajanam Cha Hite Hitam. Probably this is the highest ideal, that Raja or king not meant for himself, but Praja Sukhe Sukham Rajnyaha. In the pleasure of the people lies the pleasure of the king. King has no pleasure of his own. Prajanam Cha Hite Hitam. In their welfare lies his welfare. So he is entirely meant to protect, to gratify, to appease, and then by that only govern the society, govern the subject. Natma priyam hitam rajnyaha prajanam cha hite hitam. His hita, his welfare, resides only in the welfare of praja. So he is entirely devoted to the protection of people. That is the idea, even in the midst of monarchy. Right? We have this monarchical system is found probably in all the periods of history of India. But the idea as described from the scriptures, consideration of scripture that comes to us is that even monarchy was there, the governance was probably people-centric. So while concluding, there is one reference which we must consider. There were two bodies and independent bodies. They are participative perhaps, Sabha and Samiti. Actually, a lot of is being written on the concept of Sabha and Samiti. I'm not a scholar of polity, but Atharva Veda refers to that. Sabhaja Samitishcha. They were two institutes, and Sabha was there, which was the assembly of all the people. And king had to present himself before the Sabha. Samiti was there, another body, which probably the scholars of polity, experts of polity say that it was the statutory body, and they all were independent and separate bodies, but participative governance was there. And king, this mantra says that he tries to get approval of all these bodies. Sabha and Samiti, two daughters of Prajapati, concurrently aid me, which means that these two bodies helped the king in governance, and actually they might have controlled also the governance. So look at that. I mean, it is very evident that this was probably the participative kind of governance. Okay? So during short time, I have tried my best to allude to some of the important concepts of value system, and also based on which we have the monarchical system or concept of kingship is also there. So while concluding, we can say that the value system has greater application on the societal level. The spiritual approach that beholds oneness among all beings helps to abandon the discriminating elements of all kinds. What is democracy actually? Democracy is the system of people by the people, and these values probably are deep-rooted in ancient Indian value system. Monarchy was there, but it was people-centric governance. So ancient Indian polity presents a system of humanistic government, and it was a real democratic system to the core. Thank you once again for your patient listening. Kindly accept my thanks once again for inviting me here in this prestigious institute. Thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor, all the faculty, students who have gathered here and give their attention to my speech. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening lecture. Aprapyam nam nehasti dhirasya vyavsainam. There is nothing unattainable to the one who has the courage and who works hard. Professor Dr. M. Afshar Alam, currently serving as the Vice Chancellor of Jamia Hamdard and the Dean of the School of Engineering, Sciences and Technology, In his illustrious career spanning over 30 years, he is conferred with many prestigious awards. I request you, sir, for your presidential address.
Thank you. Dear Professor Prasad Joshi sir, the Pro Vice Chancellor, Deccan College, Postgraduate and Research Institute, Pune, the distinguished speakers of today's program, all the deans of the schools, head of the departments, the principal, all teaching, non-teaching faculty members, and dear students. In order to celebrate the Indian democratic tradition, the University Grant Commission has been decided to organize special lectures in a selected universities between 15th to 30th November 2022. The topic of the lecture is Bharat Loktantra ki Janni, India, the mother of democracy. As a concept note by ICHR, the idea of Bharat need to be cherished as there are millions and millions of Indians across the globe. Since time, it is because of Bharat and its Loktantra have influenced as well as conflict civilization across the world. It made the world to know that the Lok and its Tantra are very symbolic and complement each other to grant good governance. I thank Professor Prasad Joshi, who has given a detailed lecture about Vedic and tradition of saints and all. So thank you very much, Professor, for giving so wonderful lecture today. And I'm really happy that all the senior faculties are present here to listen your lectures as well as YouTube and Google Meet. So a distinguished need to be drawn between the Prajatantra, Jantantra, and Loktantra, one of the state traditions, translation of a political system known as democracy. The second, people versus the ruler-oriented system. And third is a community system oriented toward the welfare of the community. So in India, the Vedic times itself, the two kind of state, Janpada and Rajya, have been in existence. The Indian experience evolved its own form of governance at the level of the village and the center politically. The federal and central political structure will dealing from the life of the community, like village community. Village community became self-governance and autonomous and developed a hierarchy of self-governing institutions like Panchayat and Khap. Still Khap is existed in Haryana, UP and Rajasthan. The democratic system in Bharat has evolved over ages. There are ample archaeological literature and bhakti and so on evidence with emphasis on the Loktantric tradition of Bharat. The root of self-governance has lie in India Vedic period, going back by the recent archaeological evolution of Rakhigarai and Sonali. So, in the Rig Veda, there are several terms which is undoubtedly applied to a non-monarchical institutions. There are two assemblies called Sabha and Samiti form essential feature of the government. The term Sabha denotes the people in conclave, and Samiti is the sense of assembly of people is mentioned in the Rig Veda. It appears that Samiti was the august assembly of a large group of people for the discharge of tribal, political, business, and preside over by the king. Both these assemblies experience considerable authority and must have act as healthy check on the power of king, and great importance was attached not only the consent between the king and the assembly, but also the spirit of harmony among the member of the assembly. So during that period and even today in India, we have Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So this kind of same Sabha from Bharat from the Loktantra ki Janni. So I again thank to Professor Prasad Joshi for his wonderful presentation. But I wanted him to present offline, but due to some busy program, he came for online. But in future, definitely I'll invite you from offline so that you can interact with all the students and teachers about, because of his vast knowledge of Sanskrit, and he is a presidential awardee. So we really happy and thankful for his presence today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. The journey is never ending. There is always going to be growth, improvement, adversity. We need to take it all and keep moving forward. With these words, I now request Dr. Zeenat Iqbal, Deputy DSW Jamia Hamdard, to present the vote of thanks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Suprabhat, and a very good morning to all of you. It was, sir, indeed a pleasure to be listening to a luminary like you. And at the outset, I'm actually honored and privileged to be putting on record that Jamia Hamdard, among so many universities, was chosen for this very auspicious occasion where this delivery of this wonderful lecture by one of the luminaries has been done. Thanks a lot, Prasad Joshi, sir, for being with us, albeit virtually, but it was a great pleasure to listen to you. The wonderful deliberations have come to an end, and the gratitude perhaps is the highest form of thought. So I would put on record my official thanks to you on my own behalf, on the behalf of the Office of the DSW, the Office of the Vice Chancellor, and this great unique seat of learning called Jamia Hamdard. I am amazed at the type of the length and breadth of the knowledge, sir, which I have studied Sanskrit till class 10th. So it was like visiting the school days where you are in a classroom and you are being put in alignment with the shlokas, which are in tough Sanskrit, but teachers like you make it easy for us. Thank you so much, sir, for really being so gracious and generous in explaining the assets and the sort of the depth of the meaning from the scriptures like Rigvedas. I consider you as a polyglot, and as I was going through your CV, I could see that the type of degrees which you have attained in English and in German and Sanskrit, I think it's a rarity, and my senior colleagues and all my faculty members here would join in me and primarily give a round of applause to you. Although it would have been great had you been physically with us, but then as our Honorable Vice Chancellor said that you were pretty busy with many other preoccupations, nonetheless, the type of deliberations which were held are amazing and unmatched. Sir, I have to put on record the types of tenets which you had brought to us, the elaboration of the human goals from dharma to moksha, the concepts of papa punya, and the karma phala. I think all of them needs to be revisited in today's chaotic times. The concept of plurality, diversity, and manyness, tolerance and respect for views is what is required in today's time when we have to work in a multicultural society and a multi-regional society, to say the least. The seeing of the 6 from this side and 9 from your side was brought up. I was actually immensely touched with the concept of Tawheed and the oneness of God, which we understood in all entirety. Then, of course, as you talked about the last shloka from the Rig Veda, where the relationship harmony was put onto a chord. That's what is demand of the day, sir. Fearlessness and the freedom of thought and forgiveness are primarily what is bringing this whole society and the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I am tempted to bring in the quotes from Hadith and the sayings of the Prophet, peace be upon him. I quote Sahih Bukhari, "You do not do evil to those who do evil to you, but you deal with them with forgiveness and kindness." I unquote. I further quote Quran al-Hakim, "O humankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female and made you into nations and tribes so that you may know each other." The inference, as we all are aware, sir, it is like recently being reiterated. We have been sent as different tribes and nations so that we may know each other. We come close, we work together, hence cooperation and supporting each other. This is primarily was the joining string right from the beginning to the end of your great presentation, sir, where you were only talking time and again of coming together, having a relationship close, and bringing better outcomes when it comes to being governed and being a democracy. The premise of the kingship, I think it was beautifully emphasized when you said that it is the gratification of the subjects and nothing more than this can happen in democracy. Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, reiterated the fact that the India being the mother of democracy, and we have all the leanings and all the learnings from right from the villages to the towns and the cities and the nations. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing in the concept of Sabha and Samiti. We really have to relearn all these concepts so that we become a real Vishwaguru in the truest sense. I must quote here that democracy is definitely based on the conviction that there are extraordinary possibilities in ordinary people, and the way that you had taken up the subject matter of how democracy is helping us through the kingship, I think was an amazing journey. I would really put on record the appreciation and for I would say the respect which all the faculties and the university in totality has for these types of multicultural events. And I think all our professors, including the deans from our various schools, are here. I think a round of applause. When a professor talks and a professor listens, that is again a rarity. And listening, and sir, had you been in the hall, you would have loved the solemnness of the hall. There primarily, it's a rapt attention of the students and the teachers while you are deliberating. We are really, really thankful for your gracious presence, and thankful to everybody who became a part of this small journey, albeit a beautiful one. I thank my colleagues, my students, and my Honorable Vice Chancellor, in absentia, the Registrar. Thanking the DSW ma'am is as if thanking my own self, but nonetheless, I would take this opportunity. And Gautami has done a great job while she was anchoring this whole event, and the IT team. And I am afraid I'm not leaving anybody. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Thanks a lot. It was a wonderful journey, sir. And maybe towards the end, I think the poetic compulsion in me, I would just very quickly quote what Rabindranath Tagore had said in his beautiful poem. He says, "Let my country awake, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by the into ever widening thought and action into that heaven of freedom. My father, let my country awake." And I'm sure with the great leadership at both the Prime Ministerial level, Honorable Narendra Modi ji, the type of leadership he's showing, and now the First Lady of the nation, I think we are really, really under the best of the hands. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks each one of you for being here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. I request all of you to please rise for the national anthem. Thank you so much. I thank all of you who have joined us for this seminar today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. I leave the meeting now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks. See you. you.